Welcome.
My
entire life for this. The world's gonna start over. What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.
Hello, everybody. What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world. If you learn a lot today and you go into your clubs and you motivate everybody, the world will be better. And if you don't do that, the world will be worse. So what you do today and what you learn today is really, really decisive. I will have two keynotes. One is the first one, which is about motivation, inspiration, and being stronger together. And then the second one is about technology and how can you use technology to actually enable that people get more active, because you need to be active. Can everybody understand my English? Is it okay? Too fast? Anybody? Good. Okay, everybody seems to be happy. So let's start with something very unsporty. Let's start with insects. If you take a bee and you put a bee in a bottle like this, and you walk with the bottle to the window, the bee sees the beauty of the outside window. And it says, that's where the garden is, that's where I want to go. So what the bee does is it flies towards the garden. But there's the bottom of the bottle, so it cannot get out of the bottle. So what does the bee do? The bee says, I have to fly harder. I have to stay on target, just like a bodybuilder or a boxing professional. I have to stay on target and just work harder and harder and harder. And the bee will work harder and harder and harder until it dies. It will die in the bottle. It will not get out of the bottle because it simply is too focused. If you put a fly in the bottle, you put a fly in here, walk with the bottle towards the garden, the fly flies towards the bottom, boom, hits his head and says, that's no good. Then the fly goes zzz, trial and error very chaotically, and the fly will be out in 4 minutes. The fly will be out of the bottle in 4 minutes, and the bee will die. Why? What is the difference? Very easy. The fly thinks change liberates. It's good to try new things. New things will get you to new places. Old things won't get you to new places. And the bee thinks, never change a winning horse. Never change a winning horse. Keep doing what you've been doing, and then you will reach the goal. No new technologies, no trial and error, no good. Innovation in sports is not done by busy bees. Innovation in sports is done by crazy, chaotic flies that try to find new ways and change the rule of the game constantly. When I was young, the Olympics happened. I'm old now, and they still happen. But when I was young, the Olympics happened, and the flop was invented. You remember, there used to be, when you had high jump, there used to be the straddle, flip, and then they came up with the flop. And everybody says, what is this? That's a fly thought. That's the thought, let's change the existing. Let's do something different. Let's go to new places. You need to do that. In Austria, there's a table tennis world champion, and the table tennis world champion was the world champion 20 years ago. And he was just giving an interview, and they asked him, how do you find table tennis today? And they said, it's the same when I played 20 years ago from technology. They have to change. I need to see innovation. I want to see new things. So do not be the bee. Be the fly and dare to change the winning horse. So let's look at what a winning horse is. This, of course, is a very great horse. That's probably your club and your sports federation and everything like that. Strong, powerful, good. On top of the horse, I hope, is you, the manager, the coach, the president, the person who steers the horse. And you can see they are a perfect team. They look streamlined, they're strong, they're smart, and they are great. But they are just a good team. They are not winning yet. As you know in sports, if you want to win, you need to compete. You cannot just ride the horse alone. And where do you compete? You compete in the green area here in the stadium, in the outside world. You compete outside of yourself. You compete outside of your club. You compete with others. And if I let the horse and the jockey stay as they are, and the only thing I change is the world, and all of a sudden it's liquid, they are not good anymore. And then the jockey says, horse, did you change? No, I didn't change. And the horse says, "Jockey, did you change?" No, no, doing the same thing didn't change. Yeah, and that's why they're not winning. The people that completely changed and are winning now are dolphins. Dolphins used to be, or are mammals. They used to be like us. They used to have an arm. And an arm is a really good thing. If you're a mammal, the old model of an arm is very good for big actions. I need to grab this. Boom, I can grab it, and then I can do it. Big actions that are very strong, very big, lifting things, that's what an arm is good for. But they changed from the big action, sign up to the fitness club, become a member of our sports federation. That's a big action that you do every once in a while, to permanent little action, because they now have flippers. And there's many quick actions. So it is not about, I sign up to the gym. Boom, here's my signature. I might not go. I just signed up. You need to have permanent action. Did you go today? Are you going today? What are you doing? What is your next move? How much did you achieve today? Stuff like that. That's why team sports is much better, because your team members already say, "Where were you last Wednesday? I didn't see you on the court. We were missing you. Come on and train with us." So the thing is, if you have one big action, signing a contract and that's it, you will not win. If you have many small actions, permanent reminders, be that by a machine, or be that by people. It can be an app on your phone, or what we just heard before, or it can be a coach calling, "Hey, you have to come." The small actions are much better because they are more connected, more contextual, and that's why they win. And the dolphins didn't just change the outside, they also changed the inside. The entire structure changed. A dolphin has much flatter hierarchies. The old hierarchy in business and in sports, especially in business, is here's the management, I tell you what you need to do. Then here's a little bit of marketing, and then there's sales, right? And the management tell the marketing, tell the sales to walk, and then the sales walk. And maybe in your club, it's like I'm the coach or I'm the president, and here's the coach and there's the sports person. That is very hierarchy-oriented. A dolphin is much lower hierarchy. You are responsible for your own gains. You have faster response times, and because you have faster response times, the people that adapted, or the animals that adapted to a more liquid world, are now the new winners. That's why dolphins win. And if you have new winners, by definition, you have new losers. Because the people that did not adapt lose. The people that did not move from the flop and still do the straddle, there's nobody left. They all lost. Because all new technology replaces the old technology. So what can you do if you are being attacked by new technology, new standards, or new ways of motivation? If you are being attacked in nature, there's 3 ways that you can act. Number 1 is you run away, flight. However, you cannot run away from that. If there's a big problem in society. I was just giving an interview today outside there, and we talked about the problem of of kids just doing video games and not being active. That's such a big problem. You cannot run away from that. You have to look at that problem. You have to say, that's a big problem, and I'm going to change that. So running away is not a good thing, right? Fighting it. Oh, now it says flight. I think the first one says flight. Fighting it is the only thing you can do. However, if a lot of people invest money into PS5, PlayStations, and stuff like that, you can probably not be bigger than them. And then the first and the last one is to freeze, to do nothing. And if you do nothing, it's no good at all. What you need to do is you have to look at the state of the world today. You have to accept, yes, a lot of people use mobile phones. A lot of people play video games. A lot of diseases today come from just sitting down and not being active. I look at those problems and then I adapt my actions. You have to you have to ride the shark. You have to ride the shark of change, and you have to ride the shark of change big time. If you don't do that, if you are not on a smartphone, if there's no app, people will say, oh, what's happening? If you're not in a video game, it's no good. You need to be in those things. You need to be in the metaverse and stuff like that. I will talk about that after lunch. So that is called adapting to the new world. You need to adapt. Adaptation is really, really good. What does adaptation do? It doesn't get you new customers. It doesn't get you new energy. It just makes sure that you do not die. Adaptation secures survival. If you are a high jumper and you used to do the straddle, you need to adapt to the flop. That means maybe you can win a medal again. If you don't do that, you will die. Another insect example, this is from England. This is very famous, maybe you had that in school. This is the peppered moth. And the peppered moth has been living in England for thousands of years, and then in the 18th century, Industrial Revolution came, and before that, see, the peppered moth is peppered because it sits on birch trees, and then the birds cannot see it. The birds want to see the peppered moth. Oh, it's gone. I don't know, there's no moth here. And then the birds fly away. Then Industrial Revolution came, and the birch trees became darker. And that's why all of a sudden the peppered moth was very easy to see. And that's the birds came, eat the one, and then the ones that didn't adapt died. And that's why in the 1870s, the peppered moth changed its color and got darker. This is the before and that's the after. It's an amazing change, because if you did not do that, you die. And you have to learn from that. If you do not adapt radically, you will die. You will not have any more members and stuff like that. This is true for nature. This is true also for people. This is my uncle. He used to have a haircut like that, and then he had no more friends. Couldn't meet any new girls and stuff like that. So he said, I need to adapt. And he said it in the regular way. He said, you need to go with the flow. The times are changing. I have to change the haircut. I have to go with the flow as well. And he changed his haircut, and then he looked like that. So adaptation made him modern. Adaptation rocks. This is how he looks like now. He lives in Berlin. Very cool guy. So adaptation is really great. So the question is, who adapts? Isn't being the person or the animal who adapts a sign of weakness? Doesn't it show, oh, I have nothing, I need to adapt to the others, my wind is, I go with the wind? No, it doesn't. Because in my point of view, superheroes adapt. The strongest, the best, the most powerful one adapt, and sometimes they adapt to the world they don't even like. There are certain events they don't like, and still they adapt. This is Superman. I don't know if you're familiar with Superman. Superman, before he came to Earth, he lived on a different planet, and there you can see the planet, and it's Krypton, and you might know what happened to Krypton. Krypton exploded, boom, there was a big change, and then all his sports buddies were gone, and the gym was gone, and everything was gone, and we see danger. Oh my God, there's a lot of change, but his parents put him in a little capsule, and the parents flew him to another planet, and then he landed on another planet, and when he landed on the other planet, he was stronger. Superman on the old world, when it exploded, was a regular guy. On Krypton, you go to Superman, you say, can you lift a truck? He says, no, it's too heavy. But then when he flew to the new world and he landed, all of a sudden he was strong. So he has X-ray vision, he can fly, he can lift trucks, because the environment changed. He stayed the same. The environment changed, and the change made him stronger. If change makes you stronger, especially if you're Superman, it also means that the old makes you weaker. If Superman gets into contact with kryptonite, which is the metal from the old planet, he gets really weak. And in your business, that means, or in what you do, it means that old thinking makes you weak, old acting makes you weak. For my uncle, old haircuts make you weak. Maybe old sports techniques make you weak, or old sports equipment makes you weak. You have to figure out what your kryptonite is. What is changing in the world that makes you weak if you don't adapt? Figure that out. And if you know that, if you know your kryptonite, if you know your weak point, zap it, destroy it. You need to change immediately. Change means to get rid of the old and embrace the new. That's what change is. But embracing the new and also getting rid of the old is much easier said than done, especially getting rid of the old. Because you might look at the old equipment and you say, man, it's still good. Why don't we use the old equipment? We can use it for a while. It's still okay. You have to say no. Boom, throw it away. Very, very important. Superman keeps changing. Even when he's on planet Earth, he keeps changing. If you know Superman, I like comics, as you can see. Popular culture. Superman, when he's not Superman, he's a reporter, and his name is Clark Kent. And he has a tie and a suit. He doesn't look like Superman. But he knows, if I want to be Superman, I need to change. So he starts changing the tie, woof. And which is the equivalent of changing the sports equipment, getting a new swimming pool, dishing the old one out, getting new shoes, sports shoes, getting rid of the old one. He does that. The problem with the tie is that it's a gift from his girlfriend, Lois Lane, and it's the anniversary gift. So she says, here, to remember our anniversary is a tie. And then he says, I'm going to get rid of that tie. And what does she say? She says, it can't be done. Are you crazy? You cannot get rid of the tie. This tie is my love, my gift. Just imagine you're a mom and you're giving your kid the first tennis racket, and then the kid says, I need a new one. I need a better one, not this old piece of junk. You might go, oh my God, but it's my gift to you. Shouldn't we keep it? No, give him a new one, right? So it's an emotional attachment, but he has to get the new tie, and he does it because he knows decisions are like travel. It is not about where you are in the moment, it's about where you want to go. It's same in sports. I am not a Olympic winner yet, but I want to become one. It's about where you want to go. And if he wants to be Superman, he knows he needs to change, and he does it immediately, and he goes really, really quickly, and he goes bam, 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 and he changes, and woof, and it's already done. And it's not just things that are emotionally difficult, there's also things that are financially very difficult. These shoes are from London, his business shoes, John Lobb, 5,000 euros, handmade, custom-made, perfect shoes, but with laces. And he knows, I cannot fight with laces, I might fall down, and that's no good. I need these aerodynamic red shoes like me. And then I can become a superhero. So what does his tax advisor say, the financial people? They say, no, it can't be done. Use the old equipment for another 5 years until it's tax deducted. Use the old training machines, use the old weights, use the old sports turf. We don't want a new one. Use the old stuff. And he says, no, if I use the old stuff, I'm still where I am today. I need to go further. So if I want to be Superman, I need to act like Superman. I cannot be like Clark Kent. I cannot use the old equipment. I need to change because that's where I want to do. And then he does it, and he does it immediately, bam, bam, bam. And in business and in sports and in Superman's life, there are thousands of things where thousands of people say it can't be done. And it's a wall of it can't be done, and there's that wall. So let's go to the wall and figure out what can we do, right? If you want progress, you want to go behind the wall, right? The new things, the stage is behind the wall. So I want to go behind the wall, but if I walk, there's a wall. I cannot get behind the wall. So what can I do? There's 3 things you can do. Number 1, you can walk around the wall. It's a short wall, easy. I can walk around the wall, and then I can say, hey, I'm behind the wall. I did it, everything is good. And avoiding the wall sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. I have a daughter and she's 14, and she wants to go out with a guy called Max. But she's afraid to ask Max, do you want to go out with me? It's a big wall for her. I cannot talk to Max. What if he says no? So I cannot ask him, do you want to go out with me? So her idea for real is she wants to go out with Peter because Peter knows, I think, Carl or somebody who's a good friend of Max and will tell Carl, and then Max gets jealous. And I said, no. That's a really stupid idea. It's much easier to attack the wall and tell Max, hey, I love you, do you want to go out with me? But she wants to avoid the wall. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Next thing is what you do in sports, very often incremental change. You just push it a little bit further and further and further. I'm not going to do that now, which is like increasing weights and do all those kinds of things, which is good, but you need consistency, you need to do it every day, you need to have encouragement, because it's not easy to push the wall. And the third chance, can I have that glove, please? And the third way to get behind the wall is to smash through that. So the third way is to smash through the wall. So if I want to smash through the wall, what do I need? Number one is I need to say, okay, my vision, I have a clear vision, my vision is behind that wall. I cannot currently lift, I don't know, 100 kilos. I want to be able to lift 100 kilos. That's the wall. That's what my vision is. Then I need expertise. How do I achieve that? I need a coach and I need somebody, okay, if you look at this wall, there's a bad side and a good side. The can't be is the bad side. So you need to get rid of the can't be. The done is the good side. Leave the done. So I have to have a coach that tells me what to do. Then I need power. Is there anybody strong here? Some boxing people? I think there's boxing people here. I need somebody because I broke my leg. Yeah, anybody? Come on. Very good. Okay, power and a powerful glove. And then I tell you, here's the glove. You can probably know how to do it on. Thank you very much. Big applause. What's your name?
Charles.
Charles, very good. Big applause. And now I say, please help me and smash through that wall with all the power you have. Crash through that wall. Boom, man, you're stronger than... And you did it. Big applause. Yay, you can probably keep the glove. Thank you very much. Wow, that was one big move. Unbelievable. So it's a lot easier. If the wall is now gone, I can simply walk here. It's a straight line, it's direct, it's a much better thing. I open this so that you can see it better. And the beauty is, if a sports professional hits the mark perfectly well, the done is still here. It is now done. It's great. So the thing is that if you attack the wall, it's a really, really good thing, and that is what I advise you to do. Smash through the wall. The problem is that behind the wall, very often, there's a little bit of debris. You can see here those things, and it's not that easy. And the first steps behind the wall are very often painful. If you establish an app or you have new other services, it will be probably painful. But if the app will collapse and stuff. But if you keep going and going, you will notice there's a new world that's fantastic. Yeah, you make it loud. And the world behind the wall is colorful and happy. And you go, oh my God, wow. This is totally awesome. This is great. I didn't expect that to see the behind the wall. And then you will notice that the world behind the wall is much funner, much better, and much greater than before. And yes, it is tough to go through the wall. You need help, you need expertise. You trained all your life, and now you can go home and say, what did you do on Friday? Oh, I smashed through a wall. And everybody will go, wow, can I tattoo that? Really, really good. It's tough, it's a struggle, it was painful, but it was definitely worth it. Walls are great. Every wall is a chance to be better, to be stronger, and to be smarter. Seek your walls. Look for walls. Seek for things that you cannot do. When you're a little kid, you cannot walk. And then you see your sister getting up and you say, I want to be able to walk. And then you start walking and you might fall down, but you get up over and over again. You want to ride a bike, you fall down. In the videos, we saw all the people with the band-aids, bloody knees, bloody elbows. Yes, because they keep going, they look for walls. But we look at a wall and we very often say, a wall is a problem, I don't like problems. And problems to us seem dangerous and crazy and like monsters. But in reality, problems are great because problems inspire. If you play golf, and the job of playing golf would be to pick up a ball in your hand, and then walk to the hole in the ground, and then you pick up the golf ball in that hole, that would be a really boring sport. No, it would be as interesting as cleaning up, right? It's only interesting because you say, yes, you have to put the ball in the hole, but you can only use sticks. So by adding a problem, stuff gets more interesting. If basketball would be you take a ball and you put it in a basket, it's totally boring. It's only interesting because the basket is high and there's an opposing team and stuff like that. Problems make things good. Problems also inspire. Problems make things you inspire. If I ask you to think about a shoe and you're a business person, you might think about a business shoe. And then add a problem. No, it's not for business people. This is a shoe for jogging, for being sporty. And then all of a sudden your solution changes and you have a totally different design. And then I say, yeah, but it's not just for jogging, it's also for jogging at night. And everybody has to save energy now, so there's no more street lights, so you have to jog in the dark. So what can you do? Oh, I have an idea. I can use the energy generated by jogging, and I can shine a little light on my shoe, and then I can find my way home. And that's already more creative because I added a problem. And then you say, yeah, that's a good idea, but remember the insects from the beginning? The insects are afraid of lights. And if you're jogging in the forest, deer really like light, and maybe a deer runs in front of you or an insect flies away. So let's have a shoe for jogging at night without light. And then you go, what can I do? And then you come up with an inspiration. Maybe I use geolocation, and it vibrates when I have to turn or something like that. So each problem advances you. Problems are great. In the beginning, a shoe was a regular thing. Then I added the problem of jogging, already better. Then I added at night, already better. And then I added no light, even better. So the more problems you add, the better your solution gets and the more inspired you are. We all know progress is not like that. Progress is a little bit like this. And that's because there are those crocodiles in the world that are just other things that make you change things, right? I want to go out and work out. I have actually a date today, but something happens. I can't go out, and those are the crocodiles. And in business and in private life and in sports, they often say you need to hit the crocodile that is next to the boat. So if you want a new stadium and you don't have financing, that financing is the first crocodile. So you have to figure out, how do I get financing? Toof. If you want to have a larger team and you don't have team members, that's crocodile. How do I get more team members? Toof. So the thing is, you need to hit the crocodiles next to the boat. But if you do that, don't forget to row. It's very important to keep your goal, your final goal. The final goal is the most important thing. Everything okay so far? Good. We keep going then. Problems get stuff done. In fact, the harder the problem, the faster you act. So problems really like acting fast. The biggest problem in the recent couple of years, at least in my life, was definitely COVID. And in COVID times, people acted really, really quickly. I'm normally giving keynotes for businesses. And if you look at cooperation, companies in COVID times digitized extremely fast. They moved from office to home office in an average of 10 days instead of 454 days. If you ask big corporations like Siemens and Mercedes-Benz and those things, how long do you need to digitize? They said 1.5 years, and they did it, boom. And some did it over the weekend. In Austria, COVID restrictions happened on a Friday, and a lot of smaller businesses already on Monday had everything was closed, and they all worked from home. So boom, really, really quick. Even scientists work extremely fast. When COVID hit, normally you have a meeting like this one, and the meeting that moved from conferences to all our Zoom rooms, 24/7. You could enter a conference like this if you were in the science community all the time, anytime, from any place in the world. And that's why everybody worked together constantly. Within less than a year, the virus was analyzed, vaccines were developed, tested, manufactured, and distributed. That's unbelievably fast. That's because the problem was so big. Because problems also love cooperation. It's a lot easier to solve a problem in a team. That's why I got my friend to smash through the wall. I couldn't do it alone, but he could. Cooperation is really good. And there's a magazine called Scientific American. Scientific American analyzed the COVID time and said we had a scientific hive mind. We didn't have single bees. A single bee might die, but a swarm of bees might survive. It was a new level of collaboration, and roughly 1/3 of researchers in the US and Europe contributed something between 2020 and 2021 towards the COVID problem. Be that, how can I do it? Like, it can be the vaccine, but it can also be, how does it affect children? How does it affect traffic? What do we have to do in schools? What happens to anxiety? There was a lot of people that researched on that thing. 1/3 of everybody did it. So we had cooperations across division and harvesting the power of many minds. And cooperation across divisions and harvesting the power of many minds is exactly what you are doing here today. This is what it is. So when we have a lunch break, please talk to people that you normally don't talk to. Try to cooperate across divisions. Try to meet new people and to harvest the power of minds. If cooperation and harvesting the power of other people's mind is the thing, then one cannot stress enough the power of the team. The power of the team is good because if you have a team, you are stronger together. The hive is way stronger than a single bee. A single bee, I can go poof, a hive can kill me. So the power of the team is great. If you set up a team, it's very simple. The bigger the team, the bigger the bang. You have more power, right? So what you need to find out is that you need a really, really good team with a lot of people. But if you are a superhero team, you don't take anybody. You take the best in their field. You try to get the best coaches, the best financiers, the best marketing people. You always have to get the best. If you are mediocre, you will be mediocre. Try to get really, really good people. There's a famous saying you might know, beware the lollipop of mediocrity. Lick it once and you suck forever. Okay, I need another 10 minutes approximately. I hope you have energy. So, stronger together. Number 1, get the right mix of really, really good people. Getting the right mix means that she is great at opening doors. That's what she does. She doesn't do anything else, right? She is great at wrapping the deals up. Hey, I have a new sponsorship. It's really, really good. That's what she does. If you have somebody in marketing who gets you sponsoring, that person doesn't have to be able to run on the track, right? He is really good at hammering out a strategy, and she's really good at financing it all. It means you should not copy yourself. Don't say, I'm the most important one. Don't copy yourself. Don't say, in order to be more successful, we need to have more management, or we need to have more marketing, or we need to have more coaching. This is one view. It's not good. And if you have one view only, sports and success is such a complex thing. It's one view only makes you blind, and it really lowers your business intelligence. You have to make sure that you have a team that is very diversified. In today's world, it definitely means that you need to have digital expertise. You have to have people that are good with apps. You have to have people that are probably good with virtual reality, moving depending on what you do. If you do high-tech sports, you already probably have that. If you do really like world-class things, you will probably work with motion control and all those kinds of things. And maybe it moves into the regular sports area as well. It's very important to have a very, very diverse team. The more diversified your team, the more diversified the expertise. So you need to increase what I call the brain pool, and then you are stronger together. People that do that really work together are, for instance, bank robbers. Bank robbers have a very clear job description. We want to break a bank. Then they have that's a clear goal. They have a very clear job description. She is the driver, that's all she does. He's the lookout, then you have the brains, then you have the buyer who gets the mask and stuff like that, and you have the muscle, right? Everybody knows what to do, and everybody knows that he or she is important. If there is no driver, then there's no success. This means for you, if you have a person who cleans the dressing room, that person has to know, my goal is that we win the gold medal. If the dressing room is not cleaned well, maybe somebody slips, and then we will not win the gold medal. Everybody is important. If the towels are shit, the moral is shit, the feeling is shit, it's not good. The people who put the towel on the place are as important as the people on the field. Because if there's no lookout, no success, no muscle, no success, everybody has to understand what they do. You have to have one team, one dream. So make sure that everybody, even in the cafeteria, knows what he or she is doing. At one point, a couple of years ago, before COVID actually, I was at SpaceX in California, and there was a guy who made a Coke or something in the cafeteria, and he gave me a Coke, and he says, I wonder what they will drink on Mars. So the guy who gives you a Coke thought about, oh, I am responsible that people will go to Mars, and maybe I will be the guy on Mars. Make sure that it's one team, one dream. Very, very important. Let's go through that. Other species also collaborate, but we as humans do way, way more. You see here, there's an accident. Toof, something is happening. That's a big problem. Then a lot of people see that, and then we actually start collaborating with other peoples. We understand the bigger picture. Oh my God, there's somebody's under the car. We understand this. We come together. We think socially and act as a team. We lift the problem. We look at the problem. We lift it. We change it. We act together. And then once we're acting together, you can see they actually lift the car, which is normally a problem that a single person could not solve, and achieve the goal together. Together you can achieve everything, but you have to understand what your goal actually is. So, collaboration is the biggest magic trick that we have. Collaboration helps us to score goals. Collaboration helps us to stay fit. Collaboration helps us to close deals, and collaboration is the magic essence of fun if we party today. Collaboration is the biggest thing that you need to do. Number 2, you have to make sure that everybody has the same goal, right? They all know that their same goal is to fight evil. Not a single person says, I thought we were here to rob a bank. No. Your same goal means I want to win the gold medal. There's not a single person who says, oh no, my goal is to have Fridays off so that I can go shopping. You know, it is very crucial that everybody has the same goal. Make sure that everybody understands that they are responsible for achieving the goal. Very, very important. Make sure that everybody is aware of their impact. Again, the same example with the person cleaning the floor. If the floor is not done well, if the toilet paper is lacking, there will be demotivation and people will not be happy. You have to make sure everybody is important, everybody understands that. Final point, what should your goal be? In my point of view, big. Even if you're a local school with a local tournament, the achieving of that tournament to everybody attending is big. If I win the 50-meter dash in second grade, I feel strong. So it is very important that you tell everybody you achieved something really, really big. Go bigger, go better. I was in Singapore recently giving a keynote, and they had a tour through the garden, and this is the garden in the city, obviously, and the tour guy said that when Singapore was founded in the 1960s, they didn't say we want to have a garden in the city. Singapore was founded, I didn't know that how young it is. Their goal back then was to be a city in the garden. And that's a really big goal. If you are, back then they showed pictures of Singapore, there was not a tree. It was just houses in the 60s. And they said, my goal is to be a city in the garden, and it will take time, and they call it the 100-year vision. It will take 100 years. And this was in 1960, and in 2020 they achieved it. They are the biggest, greenest city in the world, because they said it's really, really big, and every single decision, it took 60 years, but they achieved it. Every single decision they took, they measured against that goal. They more or less said, our goal is big, so our decisions have to be big, and they all have to feed into that goal. So that means if your goal is to be a world champion, every breakfast is different. Every breakfast counts. Every going to school, the way you sit down, the way you take care of your body, every single thing counts. Very important. And it determines your actions. If your goal is to have one more park, small goal, you might talk to a guy who has a little bit of land and say, can I put a park there? Great. If your goal is a little bit bigger, 5 parks, you already talk to different people. But if your goal is to be a city in a garden, you talk to the government, politicians, everything, and every decision you say, oh, we need a new freeway. If we put the freeway on top of the earth or below the earth, what shall we do? And then you say, oh, if it's on top of the earth, we are not a city in a garden. If we want a garden, it has to be below the earth. So everything they did, the bus lines, everything was measured against that. And that goal was ridiculously big. But there's a Hollywood director, James Cameron, who does Avatar, and the second Avatar is coming out relatively soon, and he says, if you set your goal ridiculously high and it's a failure, you will still fail above everybody else's success. So pick goals that are ridiculously high and think really, really, really big. Thank you very much. Enjoy your break. We'll be back for the second talk soon.
Dietmar Dahmen, thank you very much. Thank you. We're going to see you later. Thank you for such an exciting tour in your presentation.